locked down much more rapidly than New South Wales did. On day 50 of their outbreak, they had 268 cases. We've hit day 50 today with 766. Why do you think that is?
It's a whole range of different factors. They didn't go through what we went through last year. Might be one reason. Like, I think fatigue in our community is a very real thing. I'm not excusing bad behaviour, but I'm trying to explain it. That's why it's so hard, but so important that we just see this thing through. It's only a few weeks now and we'll be open. We'll be able to end this lockdown. Go and get vaccinated. Please, please go and get vaccinated. It is our pathway out. It's how we get the place open. Who knows? Beyond that though, Rachel, we'll probably never be definitive about it, but, you know, change of transmission, the way things spread, there's an element of chance and good fortune or otherwise in these things also. Probably the speed with which they got to that 50% and other double dose thresholds. We're not having a go at them, but I think some of those things do start to shape the curve of this thing. Our main thing now is that, you know, we've all got to work as hard as we can to make sure that the numbers don't continue to grow really fast, because that's just going to make the job of our health professionals, particularly our nurses, our Rambos, our doctors, much, much harder.
Is Ryan in a position to talk in more detail about vaccine supply stuff in terms of numbers? Can I ask you questions on that front, Ryan, or because there's a lot of uncertainty about the federal government's claims. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
So, in terms of what General Fruin said on Friday about the October issues, I'll tell you what we've been told by the federal government. You tell us if it's right.
Okay.
We've been told that those issues were resolved on the weekend, and that October supply is significantly higher than September. So, September supply was 167,000 a week to state-run hubs. In October, that goes up to 205,000, then 234,000. That's separate to the hundreds of thousands of more to GPs and separate to the 300,000 Moderna to pharmacies. So is October supply higher than last month? And is the 430,000 additional supply announced 2 weeks ago, has that started flowing through, or are there supply issues that are new?
Right, so let me confirm a few of those numbers. So normally we would expect to have had the full October allocation from the Commonwealth about a week or two ago. So how much we would receive every single week in October. The Commonwealth did a lot of work over the last weekend because there were delays in their confirmation, as I understand it, from Pfizer, which meant that we only received confirmation of our allocations next week and the week after that. 205,000, 234,000, the numbers that you've got in terms of Pfizer allocation. AstraZeneca's not so much of an issue. So we have those numbers. We have to, as a result of that, we have to scale down the number of doses we're allocating this week, next week, and the week after, until we see what the next set of allocations are going to be. We're expecting an update next week from the Commonwealth around the back end of October.
The second fortnight of October.
Correct. So we don't have forward visibility around what we'll get in the back end of October. It is really important for us to maintain our dose 1, dose 2 commitment, that we don't start burning into our dose 2 allocations and use them into dose 1s. What I can also say is last week we did 295,000 doses through our state clinics, through a combination of those standard September allocations. Remember all those additional top-ups that were being provided by the Commonwealth around various slings from different countries, all welcome and all gratefully received. We're at 295,000 last week. We could maintain that 300,000 or so rhythm a week for the next 2 or 3 weeks in terms of the scale of the clinics that we have and the demand that we have from Victorians to get vaccinated. Because wherever we go with a pop-up clinic or a state clinic, it just disappears. The Commonwealth, I'm sure, would love to provide us with that additional capacity so we can keep going at 300,000 a week. That's what we want to go and do. We don't have enough because we're getting 205,000 and 234,000. And after that, we don't know how much we're going to get.
So what we've got in October for the first 2 weeks is a significant increase on September, but our issue is certainty going forward, which is holding us back.
It's 2 things. It is less than what we've actually received in September, and it's less than what we need. And we don't have the certainty that we need beyond the middle of October. And that's not a criticism. We're all, we work very closely with General Fruin and his team. They're trying to resolve this puzzle as well. Our challenge on the front line here is we want to get as many doses into people's arms as possible. We have clinics all over the state. We have pop-up centres that we'd love to run. We've got 70 school pop-ups we want to run. We can't do that until we have the sufficient supply to put into those clinics.
And the GP top-ups, the 430 or